Yo, boys, what's going on? Oh, damn. No, bro. Was my camera this big? Was it? Yo, I recorded the live execution. My camera was this big, so you can't see anything, bro. So I won't be able to post it on Instagram. Yo, that's buns, bro. Anyways, um, let's fix that. I don't know why the hell, bro, it was not like that, bro. It was not like that. And then it just went back to that. But today was quick, today was easy, today was simple. So let's go and replay and go into it. I could have held this trade, but I didn't care, bro. I didn't care to hold it back. So basically, this is pre-market going in. We have a wickless weekly candle and a huge new week opening gap because of war news overnight. So yeah, the market went up, pumped up. Actually, we can start back in Asia session because I did actually take a trade back here. So yeah, matter of fact, let's go all the way back here to Asia because I took a trade last night, and I'll show you all the executions later. But yeah, so I saw this. I saw how he pumped up. I saw that we came up in. Did we take previous day high at this point? If it'll show up. Oh yeah. Asia opens instantaneously. No, we edge it. We edge it. Okay. Yeah, this is what I was looking at. So we had an SMT at previous day high because we edge it, and I'm looking at the fib from this 1 hour high all the way down. We come up top 886, and then we reject, and we edge previous day high, and we put in an SMT because on ES at this moment, it actually took previous day high. If I can, yeah, see previous day high is right here. ES took it. Therefore, we get a nice rejection. Sheesh. We get a nice rejection from OT, and I'm like, damn, bro, I missed the top. I was hoping we can come up, push up, and I don't know, I can limit order OT or something like that. But we never got that deep retrace. So we chop over here, and we end up creating a gap, a 5-minute gap. Once we create that gap, and I'm drawing out the fib, and we're still in, wait, no, I'm not drawing out the fib. I did draw out the fib, but we never got that deep retrace. So what we do is we tap the 5-minute gap, slow down, and boom, we reject. So on the second candle, this is where I enter because I trust that this stop will be protected, even though we didn't get the deep retrace. We tapped a 5-minute gap. We're shooting with high volume towards a super intense draw. As soon as Asia opens, we rip lower. We're showing that we want to go here. I did want to see some levels tapped higher, but once we rejected, I was like, okay, cool. My break even's right here. We're chilling. So push down, I go break even once we get this displacement, and then we just tap me out break even, and then we continue to do. I mean, we continue to slowly grind lower, but then right here we just reject, and then we grind higher. And I mean, it was a good execution, but ultimately, nothing happened. Ultimately, nothing happened. Which brings us to today. If I just delete these, let's leave replay mode. So I saw that we were chopping last night and stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's see if we get tomorrow. So we sweep out the highs, and oh yeah. This is another thing. There was a daily gap that I noticed last night above that previous day high. So we have this big daily gap here. Okay, we tap into it. When I get on the market, I do my analysis. I peeped that we tapped into the daily gap up here overnight, and then we rejected in London. Or no, after London, we push lower. And I'm looking at the markets at like 8:30, 8:50 because I wake up earlier now. And I'm like, okay, what I originally wanted to see was OTE from this leg get respected, We come in, and what I was gonna do is I was gonna limit order. I was gonna sell limit right here. I was gonna have my stop up here, and I was going to try to take, because this is the 705 level on the OTE, and it lines up with this 1 hour gap, and I do not expect this protected high to be taken. I expect that to be a strong high. So damn, we just closed it. Wow, we just closed that joint. Anyways, that's crazy. We just closed a new week opening gap. I thought we were gonna reject out of it. I was gonna target the tap of the new week opening gap, so it was gonna be 4RR. I was gonna risk around like 250, something like that, and I was gonna limit order that. Let's delete that. And we never get that. So yeah, New York session, we just go lower, dump lower, and then boom, as soon as it opens, we dump lower and we just tap the touch of the new week opening gap, okay? So I'm like, damn. I'm still looking at the market, but I'm about to get off because like my target was tapped. But then I look, I see that we're getting a retrace, we're getting a deep one. So I'm like, okay, let me delete this over this big fib. So I look at ES and I see the ES is above New York AM high, which is right here. Okay, so I see this SMT. So we have an SMT right here. We had this 5-minute gap. I originally want to see this tapped, but I see this 926, this strong level of sells, which can definitely push us lower. So once we get this retrace, boom, I mark out OTE from this leg. It touched, wherever I marked it out from, it touched 618. Yeah, I marked out OTE from this leg because this part was already rebalanced. This was like the clean move down. So we touched 618 perfectly. Boom, we get a wick reaction. And we're in this level of 926 cells. So I'm like, all right, bet. As soon as I see this like up move get basically invalidated, that's what I'm going to short. So we invalidated it. We edged the 5-minute gap. I didn't care. We edged the New York AM high. We didn't sweep it. I didn't care because we had this level right here and we had OTE and we were rejecting. This was a nice area to reject. And I was holding it down here. But what I did was I trailed my stop. So like the candle was right here. It was edging and it wasn't just sweeping out the jaw super clean. So I decided to sandwich the stop loss and trail my stop here, and the candle just came up, wicked me out, and then instantaneously just hit the jaw. So that would have been like 100 more in the account. So I lost RR for no reason. I saw that bullshit on TikTok. Honestly, I could have held, bro. I could have held and looked at the volume and said like, all right, what's going on? I could have just held and trailed. But I could care less, right? I could care less because I got my profit for the day. That's all I wanted to do. I was on a losing streak, so all I wanted to do was, I'm not even gonna really think about like what I could have, if I could have passed the account, what I could have made on the account. I don't really care. All that matters. Oh, we have a 5-minute level 2. All that really matters is that I took a good trade and I followed my system. That's all that really matters. That's all I care about. I'm gonna look at the 5-minute real quick and see if this 5-minute level was actually tapped into when it loads. But I guess I'm gonna go into, after this recap, I'm gonna go into the changes that I've been making with my trading. Oh, this level actually wasn't tapped yet. So yeah, I mean, I'm still bearish after this new week opening gap just got ravaged. I'm still bearish. I'd still draw out an OTE like this and look at that to kind of push us even lower once we hit that 5-minute level. But yeah, that's the market recap. Quick and easy day. I caught a small piece of the pie. Now that we actually just dumped and continued. But I don't really care what happens after my entry. But I wanted to talk about the things that I'm changing with my trading. So if y'all look down here, I put a whole like mindset thing. I put a watermark thing. It's an indicator and AGFX watermark if y'all want to do something similar. But I put, and I read this to myself every morning. When I started, I put this here yesterday. I derive joy, purpose, and satisfaction not in the immediate outcomes of my actions, but rather in my performing of the inputs, habits, rules, and systems that I set for myself with patience. My inputs, habits, rules, and systems are my foundation, and they are what give me joy. And I wrote this because I've been focused way too much on the wrong things with my trading recently, especially last week. I've been having problems with my trading, right? I had no confidence. I had FOMO, greed, fear, like all of the problems, all the emotions. I was trading emotionally, and I wasn't lining up narrative with structure, and I wasn't being as patient as I possibly could. And I decided to fix that this week, to be patient, look for my setup, look for what I want to see, and take good trades, and really focus not on the outcomes of my actions and not on the price, because I was getting emotional and feeling my reward system about, losing or winning, when it's not about that. Your joy should be in following your system, because your system, some days it'll lose, some days it'll win, but your systems and your habits and the way you act and your patience as a person, your self-development, that is what will lead you to continue to win over a long time horizon. You will mostly lose if you're focused on the P&L, if you derive joy or any type of emotion, if you act upon those emotions based off of the P&L. And that's why I don't care that I took a small piece of the pie. I don't care. I executed a good trade. Now, next time, I could probably journal this down that I could have held it. I'd probably journal this down that, I could have been looking for a stronger move. But I was confident in the move back to New York AM low. And I also kind of managed it kind of dumb by sandwiching the position. I should have never did that, especially on a time where the bias is so clear. But I guess it was just a result of my low confidence because of my losing streaks and my bad actions that I've been reinforcing. So over the weekend, I'm going to read this to you guys, what I've been journaling, because I've journaled down in a physical paper, and I've actually really reflected on my emotions. So I went back to each of my trades. This is actually what I wrote down on the 25th. The 25th, I wrote this down. It's the 27th now, so 25th had to be Saturday. I think. But I wrote this down, and this is what I put down here, because I started to understand that my brain was wired incorrectly. And so I looked back after that, after I wrote that down, after I studied, and let me bring up my journal, and I looked at these past trades, right? So basically I looked at Friday, and I wrote down I looked at each of my trades last week, and I looked at the problem, and I decided to look at it from a different lens, and I immediately saw each problem, and I decided to stop coping and come with the fact that every problem in my trading is self-inflicted. Every problem in my trading is there. It's not luck. Everything that happened last week was a result of my actions. Okay? In my mindset, in what I've done. It wasn't a result of, bad price action. It wasn't a result of anything. I'm not blaming it on anything anymore. It was a result of my actions. So I decided to take full accountability for basically everything that was happening. So I looked at this trade, and I'm going to tell you guys what I wrote, because I asked myself, what were my problems this week? Okay? Because I was watching a mindset video from my mentor and this other guy, and I was like, okay, I need to address my problems. I need to diagnose my problems, and I need to find the solutions for my problems. So I asked myself that, and I looked at each day. So first I wrote down, for this day, this was Friday, I said I took impatient and emotional executions, because what the fuck is this? These aren't even real executions. I sat there and came to full terms with it. For Thursday, I look at it, and I instantly remember what the problem was. I traded against a strong high time frame narrative. Okay? So why am I trading against a narrative? That should not be happening. You cannot trade against narrative. And then I look at Wednesday. Now, Wednesday, I was in line with the narrative, but I traded against strong high time frame structure. Or no, not high time frame. Just I traded against strong structure. Mid time frame, low time frames, the structure was just bullish, and I traded against that. And so you need structure and narrative to align in order to take a trade. And that's what I realized. I will never take a trade ever again without structure and narrative aligning, and I will never take a trade with emotions and with impatience. And then I looked on the final day, which was Tuesday, and this one here, this was FOMO. Look at how low and late I entered. Look at that. I traded way too late and didn't wait for a retrace. Traded emotionally, out of FOMO, out of fear, traded way too late, whatever. So I diagnosed each of these problems and I wrote it down into a journal. This is how you solve your problems. Like, this really fixed me today, going into today, because I promise you I would have been scared to take a trade, or I would have taken some bullshit. I wouldn't have won a trade. You see this L streak, bro. I would have kept losing. And then after all of those, after diagnosing all the problems, I wrote the solution to each of them. So, first one, I will not trade emotionally. If I miss my setup, so what? There are more and there are better ones. I will wait for something even better or get off. Okay, so if I miss a trade, I need to see something even better or I will get off. So that is for I took impatient and emotional executions. For I traded against a strong high time frame narrative, I said, number 2, I will never trade against a strong narrative again. I will wait for high time frame continuation. There will be more opportunity later, always. Every single day, people in the Discord, every day people are taking with zeros, more opportunity every single day. Or else everybody on YouTube, my mentor, y'all mentor, everybody will just be asset trading and everybody will not make any money anymore. And it's all over for everyone. Like, if it's over for you, if there's no more opportunity in the future for you, it's all over for everyone, bro. Is that going to happen? Obviously not. Will the algorithms continue to work? Will everything, the market continue to move? Yes, it obviously will. There will always be more opportunity. I had to convince myself. I had to sit there and say this to myself and understand that I don't need to take a win every single day. I don't need to take a trade every single day. It doesn't matter. There'll be more opportunity later, always. Wait for the opportunity in the good direction. Number 3, for I traded against strong structure. I will never trade against strong structure again, but wait for more structure to trump it. If I miss a trade, it doesn't matter, okay? If structure isn't clear and I miss an entry and it goes to my draw, I don't care. I don't give a fuck, because doing that on a long time horizon will blow all my accounts and it will make me lose. Okay? So if I miss a trade, it doesn't matter. If I'm confused and not super confident, don't enter. I will not enter. It is bad. Constantly check structure and don't rely on low time frames. I don't need to walk away with a win. I don't always need to walk away with a win. Like I said, only protect my capital and mental. That is all. That is all I need to do. That over a long time horizon will win. And number 4, for I traded way too late and didn't wait for a retrace, I will be confident in my confirmed trade ideas. And if I am not, I will not enter late, but stay out and wait for a retrace. Don't enter late or deep. And then I put wait for high time frame continuations. Be a sniper, okay? I'm going to wait for a high time frame continuations, and I'm going to wait for the optimal setups, right? Setup like I took yesterday. It was a good one. It went in my direction. It wouldn't have gotten stopped out for 3 hours, even if I didn't go break even. Okay? Setup I took today. It was good. It flooded in my direction. I took a conservative TP, whatever. I'll probably learn. I'm taking a step back from like Discord and reading comments and things like that. I will still answer all DMs. I will still post every single day on my Instagram stories on here. I'll journal everything. I will update you guys on everything. But I'm just taking a step back from the things that deteriorated my mind, right? Being an idiot, looking at other people's executions and like trying to be like other people. I only need to take setups that are confirmed to me, that I see, that I'm confident in. This one was confirmed to me. I liked it a lot. And I expected it not to lose. If it lost, I would have been shocked, right? And so I took it. And I have more I have more stuff that I wrote to myself and more things that I told myself in this journal, but we're just gonna end it here, okay? So if you guys actually find value in what I just did, if you actually care, if that actually gave you any help, or if you want to see more like that, then I will dig deeper into the rest of my journaling on the paper. And yeah, I obviously show you guys my my trading journal, right? But if you guys actually want to dig more into the mindset, how I'm reframing my mind and the changes that I'm making in order to change my trading, just let me know. And in my next video, I'll read the rest of the journaling or whatever. But yeah, beautiful day in the DAC today, clear day in the DAC today. It was very easy, very simple, very clean. And yeah, I hope y'all had a great day. And God bless you all.